So the opening to your movie can be the most important thing to hook your audience in. Talk about it in my educational videos. Sadly, it's the only education videos I've got to because how busy I've been. But the point is, it's really important that you get your audience hooked in. And these are some superhero movies I feel like really the opening really like hooks you into the movie. Even if the rest of the movie wasn't as great, the opening, in my opinion, really got you like, yes, I want to see more of this movie because of this opening. So starting with Guardians of the Galaxy, there's gonna be multiple that falls into this category of, an epic opening song montage that just like this movie really like technically the very opening of the movie is not this, but it's what people normally think of when they think of the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy, and that is, Star-Lord when he, like in the opening when he goes to the planet of Morag, and you see him like, he puts on his headphones and he just starts dancing off that. Such a great opening. I loved it. On the same note, you also have the next one, Deadpool 3. The opening, it was iconic last summer. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, that was the first and so far the only movie I've technically seen in theaters. And it was 100% worth it for that opening, especially because that opening was just so much fun to be able, like, it's just, the amount of gags in it is just iconic, and I love it. Such a great way to open a movie, and such a great way to open a Deadpool movie. And still sometimes I find myself humming that song. The next one is the Snyder Cut. Honestly, I'm one of those people who I like the opening of Justice League. Like, I like the Whedon cut of Justice League. The opening. Everyone, thought, Everybody Knows that song played there is just terrible. I thought it was a great opening, but I will also say I do like the opening to the Snyder Cut too, where you just had the screams of like Superman, and you can see it's waking up the mother boxes, and you like setting up what's going to happen in the movie based off like, oh, the death of Superman is calling out to these mother boxes. This planet is now ready to be conquered. The next one, on the same note, is Infinity War. Infinity War is probably one of the greatest openings, in my opinion, of superhero content. From the reason that it's just such a badass moment where we just start with, you see half of all the Asgardians have been destroyed. And like you see Thanos like completely destroy the Hulk. And it's just really setting up, this is how powerful Thanos is when he only has one stone. Imagine what he's going to do when he has all the stones. Such a great opening. Loved it. On the same note, you also have Endgame, the opening where you get to see, like, the tragedy. You don't know, not just in the beginning where you get to see how they fail again, where it's like, okay, they're all feeling this loss, it's just happened, and then they go find Thanos. Thanos just tells them, yeah, I destroyed the stones with a snap. There's no more stones. You can't reverse this at all. It's such a, like, after the defeat of Infinity War, it adds on to that more defeat. Like, you're in a worse place now. The stones don't even exist anymore. Like, they're gone. They're not in existence anymore. You have Thor just cut off Thanos' head because he's in his anger. He's like, we failed so much. And then you have like even more going on that where you get to jump up. Now it's 5 years later, and the world is still trying to bring itself back together. And so I feel like that opening in general is just such a great way to start out this tragic movie, and you feel the loss. So you're already going into the movie feeling lost, or like you just lost some of your friends, and then you get to see even more loss in the movie. And I'm like, I loved it. The next one we have is the Batman. I have put out a video explaining how great the Batman is. It's setting up its world. It's world building in that moment is so great. I want to talk about it again quickly. The fact that it sets up this 10-minute run where it just sets up the darkness of Gotham and how Gotham is run by fear, and you get to see this fear play out. I love it how it just, it sets up the world, it sets up the darkness of it, it sets up Batman, all these different like characters are set up in that opening, that you get to set up the Riddler too, and like all the villain is set up, the hero is set up, like everyone is set up in that one opening, montage that's just so good, and I love it. On the same note, another Batman, The Dark Knight. Such a great opening. Honestly, I have a really hot take when it comes to this. I actually prefer Batman Begins over the Dark Knight. I love Heath Ledger's Joker, but I don't think The Dark Knight is as good, in my opinion. as Batman Begins, but that's my opinion. There's different people who have different opinions. Most people think The Dark Knight is better. I just don't see it, but in the same way, I would say out of the Dark Knight trilogy, this one has the best opening. The montage where you get to see the Joker, robbing this bank, and he's killing off his teammates, and you don't know which one's the Joker because they're all wearing masks, and at the very end, you see the person who's been killing off all these people is the Joker, and you're like, oh, so he literally just hired this team just to take them out and not really use them in the first place. Like, as they were, like, oh, I finished what I needed you to do, boom, kill you. Like, he's just, you set up the chaos of the Joker, and just the ending of the opening where it's just like he pulls off the mask, and he's, you get to see the Joker in all his chaos. Then you have Captain America, the First Avenger. That opening where you get to meet Red Skull. You don't see him without he still has his face mask on, but like, it's, in my opinion, it's such a great opening to, like, you get to see the bad guy, and then it cuts now to Captain America, and you get to see him as a small little guy. And I just thought that was a really cool opening. I loved it. Now onto the one that I've really, like, caused me to want to make this video in the first place, and that is the opening to Spider-Man No Way Home. I rewatched it recently, and I forgot how great this opening is. I wish I could just play the scene for you, but because of the copyrighted music, I don't think I can. But basically, it's like, it sets up, why the villain is the way he is. But then there's just, the thing that stands out to me is there's the moment where he flies in, and he, destroys that one of his mates, and he gives the weapon to the other guy, and he just turns to his mate, and he's like, business is good. And there's just do-do-do. You just go to the Spider-Man theme. And it's such, like, the editing in that moment was just like, business is good. And then it just theme. And it's like over the, Marvel logo. And I'm like, we have the Marvel theme there, but you had the, like, Spider-Man theme instead. And it was just such, in my opinion, such a great audition that just turned this movie to be like, the editing in that moment is just so good, where it's just like, the timing with him saying, business is good, and it's starting, is just so perfect that it turned a movie that, honestly, I don't think No Way Home is that great, but that opening caused me to, I really want to watch this movie now, because it's just such a great time, like, the timing in that moment was so great, where it's just suddenly like, yeah, this is the movie you're gonna watch, and I loved it. One of my favorite superhero movies I grew up watching, and that is Megamind. The opening where you just see him falling from the sky, for the most part, I don't tend to like openings where it's just flash forward in the future and then you have to flash back. It's like, for the most part, I feel like they're lazy, and I would prefer if the movie just went in order and you have to see it from the beginning to the end. But I will say, I kind of liked in that case, the addition of having that clip of the future and then flies, and then it's like, how did this happen? Let's go back. But for the most part, like, I feel like this is the only time, in my opinion, that really that works. For the most part, I preferred if you just start from the beginning and go through it from there, instead of flashing forward and future. It's just, in my opinion, it's not the greatest. Days of Future Past is the next one. Such a great opening where you get to see, just like an Endgame, the destruction here. But like in this one, it's a bit more like how terrifying this place is now for these, superheroes and the mutants and all. And they're hiding, and it just sets up like, they're about to be destroyed, and then they had to put Wolverine back in time so that he can save the world and all. And I thought it was a great opening. It's really well setting up the tragedy of the future, so we know why we need to go to the past, I think. Next one is Ragnarok. I hate third and fourth Thor movies. Just hate them. I think one of the reasons why I hate them so much is because I heard in a review when it first came out, someone say, now this is how Thor movies are supposed to be. And as someone who is a big fan of, mythologies and all, I'm like, this is not Thor. Thor is not a goofball. Thor is a serious, god. Treat him likewise. Treat him like he's supposed to be. And I'm so glad that after, Love and Thunder came out, people finally started seeing where I was coming from, where I said, Thor Ragnarok is not great. It's not great in my opinion. But the opening was kind of fun. I will say that. It was kind of a fun, kind of like in the Deadpool and Wolverine type way, or in the, Guardians of the Galaxy is just that fun little montage with music in the background, and it's just like, I loved it. I thought it was a great opening. Way to start the movie for a movie that, in the end, I don't really like at all. But hey, I will say it's a fun Marvel movie. If you put aside the fact that it's supposed to be a Thor movie, then it's okay. The next one is in The Incredibles. The Incredibles is another movie I grew up watching. Loved it. But like that opening where you get to see in the past, and you get to see what superheroes were like back in the day, and then it cuts to the future, and you get to see how terrible their lives are now, where they have to be in hiding. But it's like that, you get to see, it plays into the conflicts, and it's really interesting. Like, there's a film theory video that was talking about how the timeline with The Incredibles was set up just perfectly, that the whole thing with the superheroes having to go into hiding happened the year before the Good Samaritan law came out. Basically, the Good Samaritan law says if someone is about to commit suicide or do something like to themselves to harm themselves, you have a right. Legally, you have the right to stop them. That's under your rights. Like, you cannot be sued for trying to save someone's life. If it's something like, someone say, I want you to pull the plug on me, you can't really say, I refuse to. Like, that's under a different law. But I'm not going to get into law here. But I thought that was really interesting how you really played into that, the opening of what happens with superheroes when they try to save someone's life and the person doesn't want to be saved. I thought it was an interesting opening. It really sets up who these superheroes were before, sets up the villain, all this different stuff in the opening that I thought was really fun. It's a great kids movie with a very dark, when you think about it, opening. The next one is the Iron Man. Again, as I've talked about before, I'm not a big fan of the Iron Man movies, but I will say the opening of Iron Man is pretty good, just like the end of Iron Man is pretty good, where it's just you get to see who this Playboy Iron Man is before he has to become Iron Man and become a noble man. And I thought it was really cool. It was a good opening. Was it the best opening? No, but it was a pretty fun opening. Same goes with Doctor Strange, something that I didn't really think about until I watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I forgot that Doctor Strange is supposed to be a goofball, kind of the same type of character as Iron Man, and people tend to forget and just think tend to think of him as just a serious character. But yeah, the opening of Doctor Strange, same ways, sets up this brain surgeon who is just good at his job, just the Iron Man type way, and you get to see him and get his destruction, which causes him to become Doctor Strange, as in the superhero, not Doctor Strange as the surgeon. And the next one is Black Panther. Such a great opening, was telling the story of how vibranium came to Earth and all, and you get to see the evolution of the Black Panthers. So then you begin the movie with, now we understand where the tradition that we're about to see comes from and all. It probably was interesting. I still stand by the Black Panthers is one of the best Marvel movies. It's so sad that what happened with Chadwick Boseman, but I still see him as a role model. When I learned about all that stuff, I'm like, wow, this guy's incredible. And he seems like a pretty great guy who would have done some great things, especially for the African American community, bringing those black stories to life and all. I thought it's really sad how his life ended so short, but he did some great stuff in his life. And maybe one day I'll put out a video just talking about the best of his movies and all. And the last one I'm going to talk about is the iconic one, kind of the starting of the superhero genre type thing, and that is the opening of Superman. Superman, love that movie. It's actually not my favorite version of Superman, but in the same way, it's such a great opening. It's so iconic now. Everyone thinks about it. Yes, it comes from the comics first, but everyone in movie-wise thinks of the opening of the Superman movie as that's Superman. Everyone still thinks, when you think of the origin of Superman, you always think of the opening of the Superman. So I would say that would definitely be the most iconic one, probably. Anyways, guys, those are the ones that pop in my head. Tell me if there's ones I missed that you think are really great openings. There's some movies, that I haven't actually seen. So I don't know if, The Watchmen and movies like that have really great openings, because I haven't seen them yet. But these are the ones, of the movies I've seen, these are the ones I think have the greatest openings. And, again, tell me your thoughts down below. If you guys want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. Hopefully I'll be able to get this review out this month, the month of September, of course. But really something, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but short answer is basically I'm trying to move out of the state I live in, like move out of the place I've lived in for 22 years of my life. And just after, like, basically my plan is after I'm done recording this video, I'm breaking down my set and packing everything up so that as soon as I can leave, I'm going to be leaving. I will still, like, edit the videos and try to put them out, but, that's why you're not going to be seeing any new videos after I put out this one coming out until I get a new setup down in my new apartment. That I'm still trying to work stuff out with that, but hopefully that's happening sooner than later, and I can get you guys some more videos in October with horror movies and different stuff like that. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Movie Night Reviewer, Peter Wary, signing off.